Vickie is an incredible part of our statewide collaboration, which we'll be talking about briefly here in just a few minutes. And we felt that it was a natural to actually begin this roadshow here in Enid tonight. I'd also like to thank Justin Glazer of the Enid Brewing Company. Let's hear it for Justin. Great beer, great food, and we're going to have some great music here in just a little bit from an iconic Oklahoma band that is really the essence of Oklahoma. The Red Dirt Rangers are here tonight.
Yeah.
Cheers for them. So here it is, the road tour of Oklahoma. You got to have a dog looking out the window, right? Of a car. That's part of this. So, what is Common Bonds? Well, just a little bit about me. I just retired last year after 26 years in public radio. I was the station director of the NPR member station KOSU based in Oklahoma City. Had done that for 26 years, decided it was time for a change. And about the same time I was stepping away from the microphone, Louisa McKeon of the Kirkpatrick Foundation took me to lunch and said, hey, we're launching this statewide initiative and we need a director. Would you be interested in being a part of this? And I said, absolutely yes, I would love to be part of this. I have two rescues, Bo and Arrow. And that wasn't by design. Arrow was the first dog, a Chihuahua Whippet mix, so a Chippet. And then Bo we acquired from Pet Angels Rescue outside of Guthrie a year later. And he's straight up Chihuahua, so he's a real piece of work. Both my wife and I are wrapped around these dogs' paws. But anyway, so having had this rescue experience, for me personally, I'm an adoptee, and my wife and I both had our kids when we were really young, and I was not really self-aware enough to really pay it forward, if you will, and adopt my own child. So I've kind of seen the rescue route with dogs and cats kind of being the way I can get back a little bit. This whole idea of adoption, and I think this role is really is an extension of that for me. So personally, that's why I'm really involved, and we've got an important task ahead of us, and that is to end the needless euthanasia of cats and dogs in Oklahoma animal shelters by 2025. We want to see a 90% save rate statewide.
Yeah.
And this talks a little bit about our guiding principles. We have 24 different organizations across Oklahoma that are part of this initiative. Everyone from OK Humane, who is here tonight represented, Enid ESPCA, Lab Rescue Oklahoma, based in Tulsa, is here tonight. So many different organizations, large and small, that have come together around this common goal. I'm thrilled to be working with all of these dedicated and passionate animal welfare advocates. So we're about collaboration, sharing ideas and innovation and information, and that's to help us achieve our goal, to really inspire us to do the work. We're about inclusion, welcoming individuals, organizations, volunteers, all in an effort to help us reach that goal. And accountability, embracing a common data set to help us get to the numbers that we want to achieve. Again, here's a list of some of the partners throughout the initiative and kind of how our collaboration works. There are several different elements. We have kind of like a board of directors, if you will, a steering committee. We have backbone support, which is the Kirkpatrick Foundation, which is providing the financial support to get this thing launched. I'm the initiative director. We have an advisory council of individuals that are in various capacities in animal welfare. And we have various working groups, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. So this initiative really began about 2 years ago when the Kirkpatrick Foundation brought together nearly 90 animal well-being organizations from across Oklahoma into a room to begin having this conversation about saving more cat and dog lives in shelters, and trying to identify some of the barriers that are resulting in the continued euthanasia of cats and dogs. So this is from 2018, 93,000 Oklahoma dogs and cats entering shelters from 2018, and nearly 13,000 euthanized. So obviously, and those numbers are an improvement from 2017, but obviously we still have a long way to go to get to our goal. This is kind of a look at, from our friends at Best Friends Animal Society, based in Kansas City, which is also part of Common Bonds. This is kind of a snapshot of the shelters across Oklahoma, and which shelters are reporting and which shelters are not reporting, and the number of animals that are coming in and the number of animals that are coming out. And it's not a holistic look, it's the best available data that we have from Shelter Animals Count's national database. But we have basically half of the shelters in the state are reporting data. And part of our goal is to really get those numbers up. We'd love to have every shelter across our state reporting their data to give us a better snapshot of where we're at. But of the data that we do have, we know that there's far too many cats and dogs that they're going into the shelter and they're not doing it. So that's the state look. Nationally, you can see where the various states kind of play out. Obviously, California and Texas, and several areas in the southeast part of the country have an even bigger challenge than we have here in Oklahoma. So our working groups, one is that we're really focusing on developing a strategy to identify affordable and accessible spay-neuter options, especially for low-income Oklahomans. Our goal is to make these services available across the state and make them affordable and accessible. So right now we're identifying existing facilities and capacity. So we're picking up the phone, we're calling, based on the information that we have, we're calling to see if those services are still available. And in some cases they are, and in some cases they aren't. We're going to have a comprehensive database later this year that we're going to be posting on our website, commonbondsok.com, so that we can help raise awareness of what's out there, what's available, what's current. And so that's part of this work that our volunteers in this particular working group are involved with right now. Identifying staff, identifying facilities, and monitoring and tracking progress as we go. So that's one of our working groups. Another is the Shelter Practices Group, where we're engaging with shelters across Oklahoma, trying to identify those shelters with high euthanasia rates, developing a plan for targeted assistance to shelters, and implementing that plan. So really, right now, we're at the stage of just trying to get shelters to engage and share their data so that we can, again, get a better idea of what this problem looks like statewide. We are currently engaging shelters around the Tulsa metropolitan area and northeastern Oklahoma to begin a series of quarterly meetings that we hope will be ongoing to help build relationships with those shelter operators. That already exists in the Oklahoma City area as well, and I know that John Gary at Oklahoma City Animal Welfare and Mark Bechtel at Norman Animal Welfare are both interested in growing that to include other municipalities outside the Oklahoma City metro area. So if you have an interest in being part of that, Enid, let me know afterwards and I can hook you up. Lastly, the community leadership group, of which Vickie Grantz is a co-chair, is involved in helping us develop a statewide network of community leaders and partners to help build support for common bonds in local communities. And that's part of what this is tonight, is just, you know, raising some awareness at the local level and partnering with individuals in local communities to help kind of carry our water, if you will, to help set up meetings with city leaders or to help share where some challenge issues might be locally. And in turn, we might be able to provide information or connect that community with potential resources from other parts of the state to help solve a particular challenge. So hats off to Vickie for being part of this effort, because she's making a real difference to this collaboration. So that's it. It's a pretty simple goal, 90% save rate by 2025. We've got dozens of organizations across the state, big and small, that are part of it. And we're really thrilled to, you know, hit this implementation phase, which we rolled out actually a couple of weeks ago during press conferences in Oklahoma City and Tulsa. So the work is underway, and we look forward to working with you here in Enid to help us get to this goal. You guys have done a fantastic job here, and we hope that your success here, we can point to it with other communities that as they work toward lifting their save rate at their local shelters. So